ceasefire and the war ending in Ukraine, the impact on Dubai's market from Russian buyer demand. After COVID, Dubai's property prices dipped. Then Russia invaded Ukraine and Western sanctions hit ordinary Russians hard. Suddenly, Dubai became the safest place for them to invest. In Q1 2022, Russian property purchases in Dubai surged by 67%, making them the fifth largest group of all buyers. 6 months later, in Q3 2022, they had overtaken all other nationalities, including Indians and Brits, to become the biggest buyers in the market. I have friends that are Russian agents and they tell me stories that at the time, buyers were just walking into properties, writing checks at full asking price and then doing it again several times in a day. They would be terrified their money would be blocked in Russia or in the West, and Dubai, with its neutral stance consistently, was the obvious choice. There's no doubt the flood of Russian buyers drove up property prices throughout 2022 and early 23. Now, if there is a ceasefire in Ukraine and the sanctions are lifted on Russians, do I think it will affect Dubai's prices? Now that the negotiations have started to end the war, I'm hearing the same concerns from buyers who've been waiting for a price dip for 2 years. Some believe if sanctions are lifted, Russians will go back investing in Europe, in places like London, and Dubai's market will decline. Now, I don't see that happening. Russians are currently the 6th biggest buyer group in Dubai, making up about 7% of transactions. That's significant, but that's not market breaking. The biggest players are Indian investors at number 1, 20% of the market, and number 2, UK buyers are 13% of the market. So combined, those two countries are 33% of Dubai's property buyers. Would some Russians invest in Europe again if the sanctions were lifted? Maybe. But do I think they'll stop investing in Dubai? No chance. Why would Russians trust the West again? Imagine this. You have a girlfriend, you both have a shared bank account. One day your uncle gets into a dispute with her uncle, something totally unrelated to your relationship. She goes psycho, breaks up with you and freezes your bank account. For 3 years you can't access your money. Then suddenly your uncle starts talking again. She calls you, hey, we're good now. Let's get back together. You can use the bank account again. Are you putting a single cent back into that account? Hell no. And that's exactly what happened to Russian investors in the West. Their leader invaded Ukraine, and in response, the West put sanctions on all Russians. It forced people like Roman Abramovich to sell Chelsea, seizing their yachts and block them from their own properties. Now, with Europe in near constant recession and zero growth, do you really think they'll rush back to invest there? Will they stick to Dubai, where they've never been turned away, where they've had millions in capital growth and where it's sunny all year round?